Hello and welcome to the in-news series of Drishti IAS. My name is Pooja Dwivedi and today we are going to discuss the impacts of India being removed from US's currency monitoring list. What are going to be the impacts? What is this list? Which countries are flashed in this particular list? Which ones have been removed? All this will be discussed from the perspective of GS Mains paper 2nd and 3rd, and from the perspective of prelims, the facts are important. Let us move ahead and first of all talk about the news piece. What is the US currency monitoring list? We will talk about this and why was India removed, and along with what is going to be the impact of it. Everything will be discussed. The trade relations will also be discussed, economic relations. Now we can call this a semi-annual status report, and this is released by US Department of Treasury. What does this particular report wants to let us know? That it closely monitors the currency policies of those countries with which the US has trade relations, the 20 economies, and it tracks global economic developments and also reviews foreign exchange rates. Also, if we talk about more of its monitoring, it monitors and reviews the currency practices of 20 major trading partners of the economy. So remember the number 20. All right. Now, if any country is has its name reflected in this list, it is known as currency manipulator. That means, according to this particular list, the country which is reflecting on the list is using unfair practices to manipulate its currency. For example, if we take any currency like rupees, if the value of the currency gets reduced by any sort of intervention by the RBI, it will lead to cheaper exports, and that is why, from the perspective of this particular list, India will become a currency manipulator, and it becomes pretty hard from this for one to get away from this list for a period of more than 1 year. Now, according to Trade Facilitation and Trade Enforcement 2015 Act, the Treasury Department has to assess the macroeconomic and exchange rate policies of the US trading partners for 3 specific criteria. And if any country is meeting these 3 criteria, then it will be put on the list. A significant bilateral trade surplus with the United States is a goods and services trade surplus that is at least $15 billion. So if any country has a trade surplus, for example, if India is exporting more rather than importing more from the US, then it can reflect in this list. A material current account surplus is one that is at least 3% of the GDP, or a surplus for which Treasury estimates that there is a material current account gap using Treasury's global exchange rate assessment framework. Also, the third point is that if there is a persistent one-sided intervention occurring when net purchases of foreign currency are conducted repeatedly, if the RBI from the unilateral perspective buying more and more dollars, then this could also be one of the reasons to be reflected in this list. Now, this could be in at least 8 out of 12 months, and these net purchases are a total at least 2% of an economy's GDP over a 12-month period. So these 3 points, remember them. If it is asked in the prelims examination, you can mark them. Now, if we talk about the economic relations between US and India, in 2021, overall US-India bilateral trade in goods and services reached a record high of $157 billion. The US is India's largest trading partner by the end of 2020. Indian investment in the US totaled $12.7 billion, that created over 70,000 American jobs. Also, the nearly 200,000 Indian students in the US contribute $7.7 billion annually, to the US economy. Moving ahead, if we talk about which other countries are still reflected in this list, China, Japan, Korea, Germany, Malaysia, Singapore, and Taiwan. All right. Also, if we talk about the removal of countries, India along with Mexico, Vietnam, Thailand, and Italy has been removed because these countries only met one of the 3 criteria for 2 consecutive reports. And India has been on the list for about 2 years. Moving ahead, what are going to be the impacts? Now, it's a positive news for both RBI and the market. Why? Because RBI can now take a free interventions into the market without being tagged as a currency manipulator. It is a big win from a perspective of market standpoint, the stock market, and it also signifies the growing role of India in global market. So India is of course inevitably very important for the US. Rupee could appreciate on account of this. Alright, moving ahead, let's talk about our question for today. Which of the following releases the currency monitoring list? International Monetary Fund, Reserve Bank of India, FATF, US Department of Treasury. You have to answer it correctly. I will take your names in the next segment. Thank you so much for watching.